Hello everyone. If you are watching this video, you're watching a recorded version of a live. So the very beginning of this, well actually this entire thing is a live. And it's going to be a live chat. We're talking about school days. That means we're talking about kids going back to school, no matter what that looks like, if it's in your home or out of the home, how that affects you in your home, how that affects the way you think about things. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm really excited about it. So if you want to, please listen to this video chat. We're just talking live amongst ourselves. I would love to have you in the future join us. You can do so by going ahead and, of course, subscribing, hitting the reminder bell, which will let you know when I do go live, and we'll do one of these every once in a while. Okay, so we have 16 have already joined us before I've even really gotten started. 20 is popping up. Have 2 thumbs up already. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. It's me, Kat. And we're going to talk about going back to school today. However, that may or may not affect you as a grandparent, as a parent, as an aunt, as an uncle, if you have any guys on there. It's still, I know that most of you are women and that's fine. But it seems that it's affecting everyone in a certain way because we've been used to staying home all this time. So what's happening? Is it getting messy? Are you losing control? Are you losing your plan? Do you need to revise your plan? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So who has anything? First of all, who's here? Let me see who's here. Are you in live chat? I'm in live chat. Okay, here's everybody. I was actually in super chat. I don't know why. Okay, so Gani is here. Hi, Gani. And Kiona and Margaret. Hi. Kathy Davin is here. Libby Chapman. Yasmin Sierra. Vegan Mama from, that's actually Angela and Elena. Nada is here. Happy evening. We've been homeschooled since the kids were babies. Yes. Rachel is here. Happy Friday. Gail Buster is here. Telling everybody here hello. Mr. B is here. He's giving us a little dab. And I've got people already giving us thumbs up. Appreciate that, Rachel. Appreciate that, everyone. Good afternoon, Lita and Debbie Heckel, and Paige Maglio. First time. Welcome, Paige. We're so happy to have you here. Let's see, Rachel is dyslexic and she's having to school at home with 2, possibly 3 kids with learning issues. Not a problem. That's what happens. That's life. And we have lots of people who are doing the exact same thing, Rachel, and you can do it too. Hey, Allison. Hello. So we're not really going to be talking about homeschooling per se today, but we're going to be talking about the effects of school on your home life. That's what we're talking about. So, hey, Polly Paget, good date night. Good date night to you. I hope you have a good thing arranged to do tonight. I'm frying shrimp. That's our date night. We're frying shrimp, having grits, coleslaw, fried shrimp, and hush puppies. So excited. Kiona says, I'm a teacher. My twins are going to 3rd. My work schedule will include kids online and in the classroom, and my kids at home will need assistance, wondering how to fit my regular cleanings. Good question. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. Yes, Allison, it is yummy. So let me go ahead and start with the question that we have from Kiona. So as a teacher, she's having to teach other people's children. Her twins are going into 3rd. Her work schedule includes teaching online children in the class and in the classroom. And her kids are at home and will need assistance and wondering how to fit that into her regular cleanings. So that is going to require planning. And this is what's happening, is that people are we're kind of floating along. We've learned how to be at home. We've learned how to get things, and it's kind of nice. You know, there's not a rush. We don't have kids going to cheerleading or football practice. You might have some, but mostly not. Mostly everything's kind of calm. And now all of a sudden things are happening. What are we going to do? What's happening? Oh my gosh, don't get excited. Just relax. Take a breath. Get your planner out. Look at your day, see what you're going to do. So if you're, in the case of Kiona, she's teaching or she's working outside the home. So if you're working outside the home, and maybe you've been working inside the home, now you've got to go outside the home. This can also apply to you even if you don't have kids. You need to figure out what your schedule looks like on your personal schedule, not your business schedule, not what you're doing outside the home. That's a whole nother that's a whole nother schedule on a whole nother book. This is your at-home, homemaking planner. So in the morning, it might say that you're going to get up at 6:30 and you're going to do your morning routine by 7. Maybe you have some prayers or things you're going to take care of. And then you're going to start breakfast at 7:30 and get the kids up at that time. And maybe by 8:30 you have to leave the house. Maybe you have to do it much sooner. Maybe you have to do it much sooner and the kids are going to stay home and they're on their own because they're old enough to stay by themselves, and you leave them a schedule of what you want them to do. And you call them on your break, and you call them on your lunch, and you call them on your other break, and you call them on the way home, and you call them before you pull in the driveway to make sure they know that they have to be doing these things regularly, that they have scheduled, that you have scheduled for them. And then when you get home, you have to inspect what you expect. And then you have to inspect what you have to do. So look at your planner. What does it say? If you're a payroll, it says, oh, you got to start dinner and do one of the basic weekly plan things. You've got to do one of the weekly home blessing hour things, So you've got a 10-minute job to do while your food's simmering. And then when you're done with that, you've got to have dinner with the family, clean up after dinner, go do your before bed routine, make sure your kids have their before bed routine, have some time together as a family. Maybe before dinner, maybe during dinner, maybe all of those times, maybe after dinner. And then they have their routine where they have to go to bed. Then you have your routine where you go to bed. And then it all starts again in the morning. And you do that for 5 days a week, maybe 6, depending on your schedule. If you stay home, if you're a homemaker, you still have this situation. You're going to have one planner. And in your planner, you're going to have to say what time you need to get up in order to get up before the children. And then you get the children up, and then you go through your thing. So if you're a homeschooler, you're going to get up at whatever time you need to get up and get the kids up at whatever time you want them to get up, or allow them to wake naturally. It's up to you. That's your choice. And you have your little schedule. So right after breakfast, boom, do your 15 minutes of zone. Boom, get the kids started on their school. Boom. I love to say that. Boom, let them work alone for a little bit while you go work on your second thing, which is your your basic weekly plan. So if it's a home blessing hour, I wouldn't do that without them. That would be partially delegated. I would be doing some, they would be doing some. So we do some homeschool before I did that. And then we take a break and we do our weekly home blessing hour, which should take about a half hour with the whole gang doing it, even with 2 doing it. And then, but if it's planning and desk day, that's got 4 parts. Maybe you can only do one part, a 30-minute part while they work alone. Or maybe only half of a part, because then maybe they can only work alone for 15 minutes. It depends on your children's ages and how good you are at homeschooling and how far advanced they are or how independent they are. But the bottom line is you've got to have a plan. Number 2, you've got to do your clutter checks. It's more important than ever to do your clutter checks. Clutter checks happen 3, sometimes 4 times a day. They happen in the morning, after lunch, after dinner, if you have little kids who trash the floors with their toys at the very end of the day, or one more time before bed. If you work outside the home, it's before you leave for work, when you come home from work, sometime after dinner. If you have tiny kids, again, another one before bed. So these clutter checks are what's going to keep your house neat and clean, or neat and orderly. It's not necessarily going to keep it clean if you haven't cleaned it. You got to clean it, and that comes with that 15 minutes while the dinner is simmering. If you're a payroll homemaker, that 15 minutes while the dinner is that's the weekly home blessing hour. That 1 hour on Saturday, you're going to do the 4 15-minute things 1 hour on Saturday morning. That's going to get the house decluttered and clean. Eventually, it takes time. Okay. There seems to be no questions. Talk to me about this. What do you think about this? Hi, Shauna, I see you're here. And Tara said, I have to work on timing, writing down a schedule for the kids so that we know school is so much time a day. I hear the morning is the best time to have them do learning work. That's not necessarily so. My understanding is it depends on the children and the parent. So, for me, it would be the best time. Maybe not for one of my children when she was little. She wasn't necessarily a morning person. I think that homeschooling is such a wonderful thing to do. If you are doing distance learning, it's not really homeschooling. They are having school and it is at home, but it's not the homeschooling that we talk about. Again, I'm not here to address homeschooling. That is a whole nother subject. I'm talking about making a plan for yourself and working your plan. All right. So, and again, it's not necessarily school. It could be anything. It could just be little old you. the world is opening up and you're getting ready to go back and do things and you're getting involved in things. Maybe you've got a Bible study that you're going to go to. Maybe you actually want to go to the grocery store. Maybe you can, go do things. And so suddenly you find yourself so starved for that you're out doing that all the time and your house is really getting neglected. What happened? You didn't follow your plan. You still have time to go play, but you have to have a plan. Polly says, how do I establish a schedule for them and make sure they're doing their work when they don't? Well, it depends on their age and it depends on the circumstances that you want them to have. You have to say to yourself, how much of a priority is this in their life and my life? And then if it's a high priority and they don't do it, then that gets a consequence. And that's what you have to figure out. And it's tough being a parent. Nobody wants to give a consequence. Nobody. Let me make sure I'm, again, in live chat. I am. Make sure you guys are all in live chat. Mr. B is repeating. Polly said they are old. 70, 80, how old are they? Hey, Marty. So let me know, if your children, if you say your children are old, you might mean, some people think their children are old when they're 8. Some people think their children are old when they're 30. How old are your children? I would say a young teenager needs constant repeating. Okay, 16 and 18. So you've got a middler and a top of the line teenager and they're not doing their stuff, then you definitely, if they're not doing their stuff, it's totally disrespectful because they're old enough to not be a baby about it. So if you haven't trained them how to do these things, then show them how. Explain to them why. Remember again that you're not trying to be their friend, you're being their parent. It's not time to be their friend right now. Yeah, they're fun and they're friendly and you're fun and you're kind, but you have to be firm because firm is speaking the truth in love. And when they're grown, and they are not grown at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, they're starting to get there, 22, 23. When they get to 23, 24, they're now really coming into their own, and they're really going to be a friend at that point once they move away. But firm but kind. Yes, Allison, firm but kind. So we're not trying to be friends with them. We're trying to guide them and love them. It doesn't mean we don't love them, but you can't be worried that they're not going to like you. And I think that's what happens sometimes if we've let our kids go and go and go, and now they're 16 and 18 and they're kind of entitled. You've just got to do an about face. It's too bad if it scares them. It doesn't mean you're going to be mean. They're just going to say, Mom's gone crazy. What is she doing? But you're not crazy. You're just doing what you should have done the whole time, which is to be firm but kind. Draw the line. Tell them the things they have to do. Give them consequences. The truth is, an 18-year-old is living in your home. You're paying for the lights. You're paying for the food. You're paying for the housing. You're paying for their clothing. You're paying for all their stuff. You have ultimate control. You do. Okay. Vegan Mama has 4 girls and 3 boys, 20, 17, 16, 13, 9, 7, and 6. So if you have that many kids, I'm sure you've learned how to work. You didn't just have a bunch of kids and let them go crazy, right? They've got rules and regulations. And they work with each other. They help support the family by supporting each other. It's a different environment when you have a bigger family usually, and that is one of supporting one another. And it is true. So when you have 1 or 2, sometimes they feel entitled. When you have a bunch, they don't feel that anymore because frankly, you can't afford to let them be entitled. You just can't, or your house will blow up, right? So you have a plan. So how many of you out there have a plan and feel confident that your plan is going to continue to work once the COVID stuff is over and you're back to, quote, normal, if we ever have that again? How many of you feel that? Because that's what this is really about. It's about stepping back out into the world without your house falling apart. So Nada does. She feels that her plan is going to stand by. And so the distractions of the world, when you get out there, you're still going to have your plan. You're still going to remember that's a priority, Nada, right? Okay. Anyone else? There's 34 of you on here and like, no one is talking to me. Talk to me. Usually you guys are blabbing away. Talk to me. Let's see. We've got Allison saying, well, we tell kids to do things because we love them. Absolutely, Allison. That's right. Mr. B says, I remember the teenage years, and yes, it does get better, promise. Yeah, they aren't fun sometimes, but there's fun time. There's fun parts, and then there's tough parts because they're really trying to exert their independence at that point. Rachel says, for laundry, dishes, picking up, I tell my kids that I have to do this forever, and they are and they are a part of this and do it too. They are a part of this family, and if they respect me, they will do it. Absolutely. I don't even bring out the respect word. They hate that word. You have to say, this is what we do, period. There's no question about it. This is just what we're going to do. It's part of being part of this family. So good job, Rachel. Polly said, I'm working really hard to make sure that the things I'm establishing today will be here for long term. Yes, I'm loving hearing this long term theme. Laura Vesquez, I'm retired, so my plan is still the same. But Laura, it could change when you go out into the world again. Because you and I know we're retired. We're especially careful because we're in that endangered species group that is not supposed to go out there and do things with abandon, right? So, but at some time, it's going to be no masks, people shoulder to shoulder at church, those kinds of things are going to happen again. And when that happens, they're going to start up Bible studies, and they're going to start up, neighborhood get-togethers and all these things. So you want to make sure that you have a plan in place and that you have your priorities right at home. Okay, we got good talks now going. I'm loving it. Vegan says, I forgot your name, Vegan Mama. I have a plan, but I have 3 who will be homeschooling, 2 hybrid, 1 all virtual, and my oldest is hybrid for paramedic. So basically they're at home. Some of them are leaving and coming. That's what I think you mean by hybrid. Or they're doing online schooling and homeschooling. So that sounds good. I don't think that that's an issue. Is it? Is that an issue for you? Is it causing you to lose control of your home? Marty said her adult son and daughter-in-law are in our home temporarily. They do their part in the house except their bedroom. The door stays closed. When they're gone, yay for having my home back. Yay. Okay, that's my sister Marty, and her son is in a position where he needs to be in it's a work situation where he had to come into town to do some things. So that's why they're staying with Marty, which is great. And they're awesome. But yeah, people are messy. Some people are messy. And so maybe they're a little messy in the bedroom, but she shuts the door. Nada says, and that's what you should do, Marty. And that's what you should do, everyone. If you have an adult child in your home, an adult, quote, child in your home, and they want to have a messy bedroom, just shut the door. You don't have to see it. And before they leave, you ask them to clean it all up. Hey, would you help me take these sheets to the laundry? Would you put this stuff in the garbage? Before you leave, can you help me? That's what you do. Okay, I've been living the COVID life. I love that, Nada. For years, homeschooled, work from home, both parents, budgeting, etc. Other than the kids missing some extracurricular activities, not much has changed for us. Well, that's good. Then you don't have an issue, right? Everything's staying tip-top. Right, Nada? Good. Rachel's talking to me again. She said, we will still be quarantined in my home, so I'm trying to secure my plan, even though I'm struggling being alone and not shopping whenever I want. But eventually you won't be, and that's what this is about. When you're not quarantined, think about it. I want you to start thinking about that now. We need to start preparing our minds for that. What's going to happen maybe in January when this is all over? What's going to happen maybe in December at Christmas when this is all over? What's going to happen when the kids can go back to school full time if your kids go to regular school? What's going to happen? How is this going to look? And that's what I want you to start thinking about, because a lot of people think it's great right now because it's easy. You got used to it. You've been doing it for 5 months. But when it ends with a bang, how will this stay a priority? Okay, so you're going to have to make sure that you use your planner. When people say, can you do so-and-so? Oh, I can't do it then, but I can do it then. That's what you have to do. Nada said, we don't take that for granted and feel very blessed. Very good. Vegan Mama, Angela, thank you, Angela, for putting it back in there. I'm concerned things will fall apart once I add homeschooling with 3. It's been a while since I've had so many that need a lot of school attention. Well, Angela, how old are your kids again, Angela? Mr. B said, that's awesome, Nada. Do you live in the country? I love country life. Faria says, hi, Kat. What about guests staying at your house who don't make their bed? Should I make or ask? Neither. Shut their door. Shut their door. That's it. You don't ask them. You don't embarrass them. You just shut their door and keep the rest of the house tidy. And when they leave, I would say, do you mind, instead of leaving the sheets on the bed, would you strip those off for me and bring those in the laundry room on your way out? Thanks so much. And then you might have to go in there and clean up, vacuum and all that kind of stuff. But that's what I would do. And it's not rude. Allison said, it's so important to stay on top of things and stay focused, but also remember to show ourselves grace. Yes, Allison, she's such a good student. She's my mentee. And it's true. You have to show yourself grace and not freak out and punish yourself if you slip one day or even fall one day. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Pick yourself up, brush yourself off, give yourself grace. Don't try to make up for lost time. Go forward, right? Allison's giving me she feels loved. Rachel said, I hope my anxiety will be gone when that happens. Yep, I hope so too. Okay, it's been 20 minutes. Does anybody else have any questions about, or are you thinking about what to do? Nada said, we are just on the edge of town, but it might as well be in the woods because it's so rural. Lovely. Awesome, Nada. So what was that question somebody asked? Somebody asked me a question and I said, how old are your kids? Oh, Angela, how old are your kids, Angela? You may have told me already in this conversation, but now I'm ready to really listen. How old are your kids? I want to know. And then we'll talk about a quick solution for little kids who need a lot of attention. So in the next couple of minutes, if I don't get an answer, I will give you an answer anyway, based on, lots of people have children. Because I'm hoping that your questions are applying to other people as well, So if you're telling me I have 3 little ones and they're 5, 6, and 7, then I'm going to give you an answer that's kind of like that. How do we address preschool? How should we address preschool? Are your kids going to a preschool or are you doing preschool at home? The same way, you have to have a planned out day based on things that can't be moved and things that can be moved. Julie Mom of 2 says, since lockdown, everyone wants to help clearing clutter. They just want the space. My son, 15, just completely cleared his room and redecorated it. We'll see if the new routines stick. Yeah, they probably won't. He'll get distracted, but that's where you can come in, Julie, and say, hey, son, before it happens, I love the way your room looks. It's so awesome. How are you doing this? And ask for his tips. How is he doing this? Are you doing it every day? Are you doing it every week? Wow, do you think you're going to be able to do that when school starts? I bet you can. I'm looking forward to it. Hey, I'll give you $1 every week that you do it, or whatever, £1. You're in England. You don't have to pay them, but you know what I mean? It's just let them know that you know, and let them hear that you heard what they have to say and how they're going to do it, because maybe they don't even have a formulation in their head. And if you ask them, then they're formulating an answer. Now you know what their answer is, and you can remind them what they told you, not what you told them. Okay? Does that make sense? It's tricky. All right, I have an answer from Angela. She said the 3 that need the most help are 9, almost 10, 7, almost 8, and 6. I'm teaching the younger 2 together mostly. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem because you're going to model the behavior, model the learning, and then you're going to let them show you, and then it's done. I mean, it's not like at school where they have to keep showing and showing and showing their work, because in school, the teacher has to take care of all the rest of the class, so that's why the students have to do so much work. They don't really have to do that much work to learn. So you might also benefit from a homeschooling group that can help you with that and tell you how much they need. But if they need you during that time, they need you. And so you block off that time. But the greatest thing is it's not 6 hours. It's not even 4 hours. All your kids are probably going to get their homeschooling in 2 to 3 hours a day. And so that's great. You can totally do that and get everything else done. And they can help you, which is also great. Okay. Happy weekend. Thank you, Shauna. Make it a routine as at home. Yes, Danielle. Thanks, Nada. That sounds wonderful. Amy Sayer, my kids are going back to school next week. I want to do a massive house declutter during the school hours for the first week. Oh, Amy. I want you to do that while everybody's at home. I want people to see that happening. I want them to help. That's something that should have been happening the whole time. So that massive house declutter that you're going to go 6 hours all day long while they're at school is not going to be a good thing for you, Amy. Not for us. That's called going down the rabbit hole. I want you to do 15 minutes. I want you to follow the same plan we've always followed. Okay? Declutter, clutter check should be happening every day, 3 times a day, and the family is helping. Clutter check and picking up your clutter, putting things where they go. Everybody learning, everybody realizing they're not in trouble, but everybody realizing that this is not where this goes. It goes here, it goes here, it goes here, over and over again until they finally put it here. Okay? All right. Charity. Hi, Charity. Happy Friday. Hi, Destiny. Nada said, how would you advise parents to prepare for a second lockdown? It's no different than the first lockdown. At least now you know what to do, right? Because you've done it before. I've heard paying the kids for their extra work around the house half their age a week is a good amount. You know, I can't really say that because every family is different. Everybody's money is different. Everybody's principles are different. So you might be a parent who doesn't ever even want to do that, and that's perfectly fine too. Or you might be a parent who's very affluent and wants to give more money, so that's fine too. You know, it's like breastfeeding or not breastfeeding. It's a personal decision. Okay, vegan mama Angela said, I have been homeschooling for 15 years. It's mostly almost 8-year-old. It's mostly my almost 8-year-old is delayed and takes a lot of repetition and time, and that's okay. You know, I have a friend, one of my mentees who mentors homeschoolers, and she has 13 children. 7 of them were dyslexic boys, and she has excellent ideas. So if you need to talk to her, let me know. Even though you've been doing it for 15 years, maybe you haven't had this situation before, okay, where you have a child who has, and she has other learning disabilities she's familiar with. Paige says, working on my master's program at home, not procrastinating, is tough. I started cleaning instead. Yes, you need a master's program plan, like your separate notebook for that. And this is what you do. And you don't worry about all the other stuff. You know what has to happen. You back it up and you say, this is what has to happen today. And you just focus on that thing. And that way you'll say, I'm at work now, because that's what you're doing. You're working. And even though you're going to school, you're working, and you're working on that plan. And when your time is up, you stop. And now you look at this plan that says, okay, school is over. And now this is what I do in my home. That's how you do it. All right, girls and guys, I've got to go. I hope that you enjoyed this. We've gone for 26, almost 27 minutes. That's pretty long. I enjoyed talking to you, and I hope that you have a great weekend. I will not see you tomorrow. I will not see you on Sunday. I will see you on Monday. Okay, so have a great weekend, and always remember that you are beautiful. Bye.